communication and connection with others. My name is Kylee Hamamoto, and I have been communicating my whole life. I have also taken courses about communication and how it impacts our lives, and I'm also currently taking leadership and communication workshops and learning about how they impact our everyday lives. And I hope that through my words, I am able to show you how culture and society shape our understanding of communication and language. So, firstly, different cultures and societies shape how people view words and symbols. Based on the beliefs you have, the religions you practice, or the traditions you have, shape your own understanding of language. The Japanese society and the American society are two prime examples that demonstrate this statement. In Japan, their school system revolves around the senpai kohai system. To elaborate, the senpai are older students and the kohai being the younger. In sports, clubs, and recreations, the kohai must learn from their senpai, show respect towards them, and sometimes run errands for them. Senpais are usually the captains of teams, which limit the amount of kohai on a team. This system, in Americans' eyes, seems almost extraterrestrial. In America, both the older students and the younger students can learn from each other in sports and activities. Although both parties must respect each other, it is not to the extent where the younger students are borderline servants running errands for the older students. Lastly, anyone can be in a leadership role on teams not based on their age, but rather on skill or a good model as someone people can look up to and follow. The more we communicate with others about how they have been impacted by the culture they have been born into can shape our own perspective. This constant process is what makes communication circular and never ending. Now that we have covered this aspect of the subject matter, we can move on to how culture and society create power structures by using language and words. When we are in a culture or society, there are also things that come with it. For example, language, beliefs, traditions, and religions. Always understanding our beliefs or point of view that is instilled in us by our communication determine our language habits. Language habits are the mannerisms we learn that differentiate us from one another. For example, after lunch, I like to lie down and take a nap. Or after lunch, I like to lay down and take a nap. Both are correct, but based on the language habits you have, you might find one that seems more natural sounding to you. This is one reason why language and communication are symbolic. It carries meaning which can convey messages, making it powerful. Now that I have spoke to you about how culture and society can create power structures using language and words, I will now share with you how your culture and society shape the connotation behind the word. Culture and society shape how we view words, whether it having a positive or negative impact. In the American society, the word follower has a negative connotation. Connotation meaning the feeling behind the word. When being called a follower, one might take it into offense. Therefore, effective leaders are able to manipulate words and create a more positive substitution for the word follower. For example, a stakeholder, a constituent, or a collaborator. In other countries, some might not take into offense because of the culture they grew up in or what they were taught. The words we use determine our impact towards others, which play a big role when reaching a common goal. As the human population, we are constantly communicating with one another, so it is very important to understand others, their differences, and maybe some similarities. Looking at the whole picture, we either inhibit or perpetuate ideas and power structures based on the language we use. So if we always wish world peace upon a shooting star, or wish joy for all the world when we throw a penny into a fountain, we can grant those wishes by starting to communicate with others and by showing respect to one another of how their culture shape how they view language and communication.